Since taking over the company in October 2020, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, has had his work cut out for him. But one of his largest problems isn't developing new EVs or scaling production. They are the dealers. Since realizing that dealers are damaging the reputation of the Ford brand, he has declared war on them. Dealers are protesting after the Ford CEO ordered them to invest $1.2 million in selling Ford EVs at MSRP or leave the network. Join us today until the end of this video as we outline what the Ford CEO just admitted in detail and discuss why this may mark a significant turning point. It's critical to understand one thing about dealers in order to fully grasp the scope of this issue. The dealer network was started by Henry Ford more than a century ago. In order to expand quickly, Ford Motor Company was the first automaker to provide a franchise system for dealerships in 1908. The success of Ford car dealers in America has been largely attributed to this franchise system, which is now legally protected. By selling directly to customers, manufacturers are specifically prohibited by these laws from undercutting dealers. Additionally, these laws specify that dealers are not required to sell cars at MSRP. Price setting is done by them. However, things are shifting, and there are some ambiguities. This legislation made no allowances for the internet or made any mention of electric vehicles. Despite the fact that dealers in general have abused their power, they are fighting back and have at last taken legal action against Ford. Although Ford claims that the deal is optional, dealers have raised a lot of objections because it actually isn't. This agreement is necessary because without one of the two packages, dealers will not be able to sell any of Ford's electric vehicles. Only Ford's gasoline and hybrid vehicles will be available for purchase from those dealers. The long-term implication is that when people stop purchasing gas-powered cars, these dealers will eventually go out of business. According to CD News Junkie and Ford officials, Ford is encountering significant opposition in the state of Connecticut, where the state's Senator and Dealership Association have denounced the automaker and said they will pursue legal action. One of the most vocal senators on the EV sales issue was Richard Blumenthal, who suggested that Ford may be breaking franchise agreements and that the Federal Trade Commission should look into its conduct. "I'm convinced there is a case that needs to be investigated here," Blumenthal said. "I'm going to be taking this case to other state authorities, including the Attorney General. But I also think it should be of interest to the Federal Trade Commission, whose franchise rules may also be violated here." Representative Roland Lemar, a Democrat from New Haven and co-chair of the legislature's Transportation Committee, read a statement from William Tong, the state's current Attorney General. The statement asked Ford to make sure that the cost of investing in new infrastructure for electric vehicles didn't just fall on local dealerships. When asked for comment on this story, Ford Motor Company did not respond right away. At a press conference in late November 2022, a number of executives praised the automaker for choosing to expand into selling electric vehicles. However, they disagreed with its choice to issue dealers with a pricey ultimatum. The program's current design, in Jeff Ayoza's opinion, makes it likely that some smaller franchise dealers in Connecticut won't be able to sell electric vehicles because doing so would be too expensive. Jeff Ayoza is the legislative co-chair of the Connecticut Automotive Retailers Association. Depending on how big your dealership is, you may never experience a return on investment because it's a fixed price, Ayoza said. $1.2 million is the same price for a dealer that sells 100 cars a year as opposed to a dealership that sells 3,000 or 4,000 vehicles a year. It's a very difficult program. Senator Heather Summers claimed that Ford was deliberately attempting to destroy franchise dealerships in Connecticut, which she claimed have helped Connecticut communities by providing jobs and automotive services. "The amount of investment required for our local dealers is staggering. Absolutely staggering," Summers said. "The time frame in which they are supposed to read and respond, it's just outrageous. It's unacceptable and really is just an invalid request." Ford's requirement that dealers pay a sizable upfront fee to get an EV certified has primarily offended dealers. Additionally, a lot of dealers have asserted that the rigidity of the system, which required such large payments regardless of the size of the dealer, might drive out smaller dealers. It's a legitimate worry because, given the state of the economy, no small business will be able to pay $1.2 million. Although there is a $500,000 option, under the terms of this agreement, dealers are only allowed to sell a total of 25 electric vehicles per year. That's definitely not a good deal, at least not for the dealers. The $1.2 million agreement allowing dealers to sell as many Ford EVs as they can is the only option that makes sense. They think Ford intentionally targets the smaller dealers, which makes things challenging, and it's effective. Now, before we continue talking about Ford's action towards the dealers, please give a thumbs up if you are enjoying this video so far. And stay tuned until the very end to find out how many dealers have agreed to it. Ford is encountering opposition outside of Connecticut. Similar demonstrations, according to Automotive News, are occurring in as many as 3 states. Dealers are also suing the automaker over these new regulations in Arkansas, Illinois, and New York. The State Motor Vehicle Commission received a complaint against Ford from the Arkansas Automobile Dealers Association in October 2022. Then, in late November 2022, Ford dealerships in New York filed a lawsuit against Ford, and 27 dealerships in Illinois filed a similar objection with the state commission. The New York lawsuit may automatically halt Ford's dealer certification program while the judge weighs the case, according to Automotive News. According to the lawsuit, it is illegal for dealers to sell EVs without making an investment in one of the certification tiers. Ford has only said that the program follows all laws when it comes to these lawsuits. According to Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, the company is pursuing a new strategy to aggressively push dealers to adopt electric vehicles and enhance the company's sales system in order to compete with direct-to-customer brands like Tesla and Rivian. The biggest benefit for customers is the certification's fixed pricing component, which eliminates dealer markups. In recent years, dealers haven't exactly done so much to improve their reputation, following a never-ending stream of customer complaints about being charged significantly more than the MSRP. Public perceptions appear to be at all-time low. Ford is standing by its position, giving some dealers a brief extension but keeping the certification requirements untouched. Nevertheless, the Ford CEO made a startling announcement following all of these lawsuits. In the midst of all this controversy, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, revealed that 65% of US dealers have already committed to selling EVs through the company's new investment initiatives. Farley claims that about 1,920 of Ford's nearly 3,000 US dealers have agreed to obtain EV certification and market the vehicles at MSRP. About 80% of the dealers chosen to invest $1.2 million, he said, would be fully certified. It makes no sense for any sizable dealer to choose the smaller package if you're going to invest. On September 17, 2022, Uproar announced the launch of the new certification program, but only 3 months later, most of the dealers have consented to stop markups, sell at MSRP, and pay a $1.2 million fee. It demonstrates 2 things. First, dealers have had a few prosperous years and have the capital to invest. Second, dealers are aware that if they do not embrace electric vehicles, they will be rendered obsolete. That still leaves from January 1, 2024 to at least January 1, 2027, about 1/3 of its dealer network unable to offer a single fully electric Ford vehicle. Most of the dealers who turn down the Model E offer most likely reside in rural parts of the US, but the adoption of electric vehicles is slower, and fewer cars must be sold to make them economically feasible. Even though they may not experience the negative effects this year or the following year, it is foreseeable that they will regret their decision in 2025 and 2026, when electrification will be even more pervasive. Ford has no plans to offer buyouts to dealers who don't want to invest in selling EVs, following General Motors brands like Cadillac and Buick. Marine Jaja, Chief Customer Officer of Ford's Model E electric vehicle division, says that we want them to have a choice. So, after initially appearing to be a battle to the bitter end, it now appears that things will proceed as usual. What do you think then? Is the brand new certification process legitimate or not? Comment below with your thoughts and let us know. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'm Fred. Please subscribe, like, and share this video. Now, if you're interested to buy some stocks, why not check out what Shamath Palihapitiya would say about Tesla stock? Click and watch the next video here to know more.